Hey guys, I'm Star Commander and I'm coming back at you with another video. This time around I'm going to be doing a review of the VK30.01D. I do plan to do reviews on the previous two tanks, the Panzer III and the Panzer III-4. I've got the replays and games and screenshots and all that. I just need to get around to actually doing it. And I haven't been putting out very much because I've been very busy. I've set a rather ambitious goal for myself. I'm trying to earn the Leopard 1 main battle tank by Christmas, but so I need to put in a lot of work on that. Anyway, so on to the VK30.02D. As you can see here, I'm up here in the sniping spot. The aiming time is decent, and I've been hitting. I can hit this Cromwell at a good range, and he can't see me because note the little number up in the top right hand of my reticle. By the way, in case you did not know, I'm using a modified reticle. I'm using Jimbo's crosshair mod. You could search that up on Google, and I'll have that appearing on screen in a second. That's Jimbo's crosshair mod. Let's move on. So I'm up here in the sniping post. I do have the L70 equipped, the top gun. It's got a very good rate of fire. It's one of those pumper guns, but it's got a good aiming time so that it at least fully aims between shots. And the DPM, it's not quite as bad as you think. You may not see it now, but the reload is about 3.5 seconds. I don't remember the exact number because, well, I got off the VK30.01D a little over a week ago. Grinded from the VK30.02D to the Indien Panzer in about a week without premium. Anyway, so I'm just sitting up here and sniping. I'm platooning with Rekuza and one of our old acquaintances, Ocean Gazer, and they're in their Cromwells, and we've basically got a 3-man team going. I'm sitting in the back, sniping and basically Overwatch, while they are going up forward, being aggressive, outright ones, and all of that. So I'm just sitting up here at the sniper post up here in B1 and watching and looking around and seeing if I got anything to shoot at. Since they're not trying to assault in through E1 and E3 through the choke points, then I don't really have much to shoot at, and now's the time to move up. The VK30.01D has good speed. If I recall correctly, the power-to-weight ratio is something like 20, or higher than 20. And the VK30.01D is still pretty heavy. And the VK30.01D has 80 or 90 millimeters of frontal armor. Very good ramming tank. In one of my future videos, you will see me using the VK30.02D, which is very similar, except for the turret and the gun. More on that later. And I can use rams to devastating effect in this tank. Also, the 30.02D is a good circulator. You might see that a little later. Also, the VK30.02D knows how to move. I'm making it out over this rough terrain at a pretty good speed. The VK30.02D knows how to turn. Overall, love this tank a lot. Now, I wasn't quite patient enough on that shot. I'm trying to help Ocean Gazer with this Tiger P right now, but I'm not having too much success. This gun does have 150 penetration, which is good for tier 6, but against tier 7 opponents it may not be the best. But I found a more opportune target, Churchill 1. He doesn't look like he's using the top gun, but he's dead. The trick to the Churchill 1 is the turret. If you've got at least 90 millimeters of penetration, I guarantee you shoot for that turret, you're going to penetrate every time as long as it's not anchored. So now the Cromwells have cleared out the path, so they're moving ahead. I'm close behind. It looks like we're going to be winning this battle here. So I'm going to take a minor detour because I see there are more targets over there on the hill. Also, I'm hoping to find any AFK people near their base, though that's not very likely. Alright, and we've got a Hellcat over there in the corner. Cromwells are going to go for the bit, grab the bit, and chase them. Hellcat took out the Electo that was next to me. Rest in peace, brother. Meanwhile, there is another guy behind a rock. Can't get him. Turn back around, and the Cromwells and the VK30.01P are going straight in. That 30.01P needs to be careful. And one of the Cromwells goes in for the ram, and they're just ultra gangbanging him right now, and Ocean Gazer takes the kill. Now that other Hellcat is trying to get a shot on us. Doesn't look like he can do it. I risk a shot on the move because I need to keep getting towards him. And it looks like Ocean Gazer, or no, that's Raccoon. Ocean Gazer's going to keep an eye on them. We're going to move on and take out their heavies. We're just going to basically get up close and gang him. And that ends the first game. Alright, so now we're moving on to the next battle. I've got 3 total battles to show you that went really well. And this one is in Angst. This is the battle where I won my first class mastery badge. And top tier. There are not that many enemy heavies. And like you saw in the chat, I'm a little concerned about the city, so I'm just trying to sneak around and scout ahead, and I really shouldn't be this far up, but you know, this is the problem with a lot of fast tanks. You need to be careful. You don't use the speed to get yourself incredibly fast unless you're a light tank. And Gunner gets taken out by the Jackson. I fix it. I heal him, because the Gunner is one of those necessary components. You need to aim quickly and shoot quickly and act quickly in the 3001D. It's, in my experience, actually, the 3001D reminded me a lot of when I used the Leopard 1 on the test server. Pumping shots into the flank of the 3485. He doesn't seem to be paying too much attention to me. Bounce a shot off the bottom of his turret. Hellcat finishes him off. Then there's a KV-1. The first thing I'm thinking is, I need to get out of here. I'm getting really close to being in a kill zone, so I'm going to help this poor little M3 Lee with this KV-1. Fire a shot, I miss. But the great thing about these pumpers is they're really forgiving if you bounce or if you miss. So I reload, put another shot into the KV-1. He's getting disoriented because the M3 Lee is penetrating him as well. And we're both pressing him, and there's another KV-1. You can see him on the minimap. He's just behind us. So I pop out, track the KV-1, and this poor guy, he is shooting from my frontal glacis. If you'll look at the frontal glacis, it is heavily sloped at 45 to 60 degrees, I'm not exactly sure. And it's got 80 millimeters of armor. Yeah, not very good. And plus, it's angled as well as sloped. So, just, if you happen to be a physicist, just think this in your head. An 85 millimeter projectile striking an 80 millimeter plate, angled in the X dimension by 60 degrees, and in the Y dimension by, say, it's almost 70 or 80 degrees. Yeah, that's pretty much auto bounce. Moving on. So I'm just going to basically run through these buildings and clear them out. And then there's a Hellcat over there. And that damage tells me one important thing in particular. And there's a quick ram on the Hellcat. Hellcat only has 13 millimeters of hull armor, easy to ram. But that Hellcat is only doing a little damage because he is he's using the 76 millimeter M1A2. He's not using the 90 millimeter gun, so I'm very grateful for that. And he bounced one off of me, however he did that. And so now we're gonna clear it out. There aren't any enemy scumbags, so unfortunately we cannot go arty hunting. But safe to say that most of their tanks are close or in the city, so that's where I'm going to next. I'm gonna cut through the building because nobody's coming in on this side. So I'm gonna peek around the corner, and I'm probably gonna take out the M5 Stu. He's not on the cap, though. I was expecting him to be on the cap. So they're just gonna... Not sure what they're going to do quite yet. And the M5 Stuart makes a run for it. The KV-1 takes a shot at him. There's another VK-3001D. He is stock. Because notice he has a low health. Well, only 700. Okay. T-28 kills the M3 Stuart. Or M5A1. Yeah, the M5. So now our guys are swarming the cap. I want some more kills. You know, I've only done about 1200 damage, which in my esteem is kind of low. Although I have beat my health and... Ah, there's the enemy VK-3001D. He's using the stock turret, so there's something very important to know. He's using the L48 gun with very little penetration, although he does manage to penetrate me that time. Hits me in the turret cheek, it looks like. So, I'm not going to go straight down the road, or maybe I am, because he's not looking over here right now. He's shooting at the Panzer IV and the M3 Lee. And he's just taken out the M3 Lee. He can't be looking this way. This tree's in the way, but I'm going to feel around and see if I can get a shot on him. It's no use. I'm going to see if he moves and exposes himself again. He does, but I miss. Just a really bad roll on the aimer. Now he's going to go chase that Panzer IV, and I think there's no doubt in your mind he's going to go kill the Panzer IV. But that's the perfect distraction. I can move up and get him. Fire on the move. I miss. He's ducked behind the house. I'm very sure that he's going to try and get back up in that bombed out building. So I need to get over there and shoot him quickly and pray that the random number game chooses a favorable damage. No it didn't. He's not dead. Now he fires a shot into me. Let's see. He put him into my front glacis. So I got kind of lucky, so now come up, shoot him with quick aiming, and he's dead. And that ends that. Alright, so I'm looking at the results for that battle. Got 927 XP. Also got a Spartan. And as you can see, I got a first class mastery. Now, I did about 500 spotting damage, probably from that beginning part. That's a role you can play in high tiers. The VK-3001D does work as a scout. It's fast and it's maneuverable, so it can work as a scout. So in high tiers, you can rush, get in a good spot, and just sit there and light up targets for the big guys. And hit a multitude of targets. Only killed 2 of them. Only damaged 5 of them. 4. Or yeah, that's 5. So, took top honors on the team. I did the most damage except for the KV-1S on the other team. And then I got my Spartan, so that helped boost my XP a little bit. And I also got some more spotting damage, and I got 2 kills. So, potential damage received. I think it's safe to say that I did a good job on the potential damage received part. I bounced or deflected. I only took about 760 points of damage. I bounced about 600 points of damage in just by bouncing it. And some of it was caused by the opponents shooting me in awfully stupid places. But the VK-3001D has an epic gun mantlet, and the front, and the upper glacis especially, can be pretty strong. And it has virtually no lower glacis either. So that's a weak point that can't really be exploited. Alright, and here is the third battle. Last and least... Yeah, I should just totally put a totally crappy battle at the end, just to troll you. But, you know, I'm not going to do that. This is the battle where I got my Ace Tanker medal. Alright, so this is another Tier 6 game. It's on Airfield. And, this is probably my favorite spot, whether it's in a tank destroyer or a medium tank, sometimes even a heavy tank if I don't go for the island or the north. And with the accuracy, I plan to be a good sniper. With the speed, I can jump out of the bushes and intercept anyone who appears over there, where the KV-1S and the T-40 are. Also, note the KV-1S is stock. XVM Light is putting a little apostrophe by his name, denoting the fact that he's stock. And he also has 760 health. Now, they've moved up the ridge and they've seen basically nothing, so I'm assuming that it's safe for me to go over here. So I'm not going to get very much. And here's some targets. I'm thinking I can just peek up in a hull down position and take shots at the guys on the other side of the island who are camping their base, because, you know, everyone hates base campers. So that KV-2, this gun has good enough penetration to usually penetrate the KV-2, because that turret isn't that well protected. And kill him. That's just 250 damage, but that's alright. A kill is a kill, whether you ninja it or not. And I'm gonna move over here. I don't want to get shot at by any of his friends. XVM is confirming that there are at least 2 other targets. It looks like a Churchill and a Type 58. And a Panzer 38N has appeared. I'm gonna stay here a moment longer. And the Churchill 1's just been spotted. I'll take my chances with the Type 58 and I'll shift across the island. And this Churchill 1 is pointed in the other direction. I must like it up the ass. Look at that. Look at that ass. So, basic indirect mode doesn't work for me, so I switch back to sniper mode and just shoot him in the back of the turret. He doesn't seem to be realizing what's going on. Now he's realizing it. Remember my little tip earlier? I use it, shoot him in the turret cheek, and he's gone. AT-8 finishes off the Panzer 38NA. And then another 3001D, maxed out, just peeked out from behind the rock. With the great accuracy of the gun, you saw how little of his tank was showing, and that allowed me to put a shot into him. So yeah, enjoying my little gloat. I earned it. So now the 3001D has come out from around the other side of the rocks. He didn't seem to recognize that it was me and not the AT-8 who shot him before. So now he's trying to play ring around the rosy with the AT-8. And I just took a shot from the Type 58. Well, he didn't hit me. I'm going to see if I can get around into the 3001D. That Type 58's shooting me, so I need to get down. So I slide down, no damage because I did it properly. And I kill the 3001D. Now that Type 58 is getting awful annoying. But if you caught a glimpse of how much health he had exactly, well, he had about 230 health. 2-hit kill. And I've still got more health than he does. And I've got this big AT-8 here with most of his health remaining, so we're good to go. Now, if I recall correctly, I could have gotten a Top Gun if that AT-8 hadn't stolen my kill from the Panzer 38NA. Then I could have gotten a Top Gun this battle. But that's okay. And so there's the Type 58 detected by proximity. Want to try and shoot up and shoot him through those bushes, but that's a no-go. Gun won't elevate high enough and he's too far from the edge. There's one scumbag that's already met his doom. And then there's another scumbag. Lef-18 B2. Or however the hell you say it. So, I kill him. The scumbag's met his doom. And there's a T-28 here. It looks like he's AFK. I'm getting shot at by the Arty. That Type 58 probably got killed by the T-28 and the Heavy on the hill, and Arty counter batteries and kills their last unit. So this is the battle that got me my Ace Tanker badge. 1,244 XP, no double, no premium, no event, no nothing. That's the raw amount. So I got about 971 spotting damage. Could have been spotting that KV-2. Probably was spotting the Type 58. I definitely spotted for the M41. Got top of the list, about 1,900 damage, 5 kills. If I could have had the Panzer 38NA or the M41, would have gotten a Top Gun, but no, but that's okay. Fired 28 shots during that engagement. 18 of them hit. In case you're too lazy to do the math, that's 6/7 for you. 6 shots out of 7 I hit. I made a 19,000 credit profit. Ammo on this tank is cheap as dirt. It's a pump gun. But that means that shooting gold ammo is a bad idea. Out of any pump gun, you don't want to shoot a gold ammo. Mostly because it's out of proportion with the rate of fire, the price of the shell. So you're going to burn a whole lot of gold or a whole lot of credits if you use nothing but gold ammo. Because you shoot a lot, and each shell only does a little damage, even though it costs like it was a larger caliber shell. Spotted 5 people, damaged 5 people, killed 5 people. That's the way it should be. And, yeah, ace tanker battle.
Alright, so, what's so good about this tank and what's not so good about this tank? Let's go through and find out. Okay, so looking at the pros. Well, first off, the VK3001D has a high speed. Not only does it have a high speed, but like I mentioned earlier, it's got a really good power-to-weight ratio of higher than 20, which is plenty good. Also, it's got a good track traverse. It'll turn faster than the Panzer III-4. I don't know if it'll turn faster than the Panzer III in actuality. As for armor, it's got decent enough armor. So during my first class game, you guys saw how they kept on bouncing off of me. When that armor is angled, it'll perform very well. Now, moving on to the gun. The gun is very good. Now, you don't have much of a choice. You have to have that 75mm L70. No options. Or you can go with the stock gun, which has less penetration, a somewhat equal rate of fire, and less accuracy, and less damage. So you really need to go with the top gun, the 75mm L70. But no worries, because it's a really good gun. Also, the VK3001D has the second highest hit points out of all the tier 6 mediums. It has 770 health with the top turret. That 770 is better than the Cromwell, it's better than the A43, it's better than the T-3485, it's better than the M4A3E8, it's better than the M4A3E2. The only medium tank which has more health than this is its German cousin, the VK30.02M, with 840 health. Now, another good thing about this tank is a bunch of the modules that you research on the VK3001D will carry over to the VK30.02D. By the time I finished grinding my VK30.02D, I had used up less battles because I didn't have to get as much XP as I had on the 30.01D. Now, moving on to the cons, the not so great stuff about it. Well, the turret armor isn't so good. You may have noticed that the penetrations during my first class mastery badge game went in through the turret. Not through the gun mantlet though, because the gun mantlet, it's thick. Most gun mantlets you can't penetrate. But the turret face, it only has 80mm of armor, and it's not very well sloped either. So there's a very high chance of penetrating it, especially tier 5 and tier 6, and sometimes even tier 4 tanks. Not to mention tier 7 or tier 8. The grind is not so great when it's stock. It's not very fast. The gun is definitely not good enough when it comes up against the tier 8s, that L48. And the tank's not very good at flanking when it's not fast or maneuverable enough. It loses a lot of energy in the turns like a lot of stock tracks, so you need to get out of that grind as soon as possible. It's got no gun selection, which I mentioned earlier, but it's okay because the one gun that it does have is a good gun. What I recommend for the 3001D, play the VK30.01D for what it is, a scout sniper. Move quickly and don't hesitate to circle or take the flank, as you will have the speed to do this, and these skills are necessary to properly use the VK30.02D. However, passively sniping is not a bad idea either, and if you can get consistent shots into a target, 150mm of penetration is definitely adequate even against tier 8, and you can rack up some damage easily. Try not to engage in face-hugging or brawling too much, because while the VK30.01D does have the health to do it, it doesn't have the armor. Since a smart opponent will just see your turret, he knows you only have 80mm. It's not sloped or angled or anything. He will just go for those turret cheeks and he will penetrate them. If you're forced into a brawl against an equal or superior opponent, just twist the body back and forth so that they can't properly get a good shot into you. This is also an advantage at a brawling distance because the VK30.01D doesn't have a so-called lower glacis. The lower glacis is often less heavily armored than on other tanks, and is a common weak point if you can aim far enough down to hit the lower glacis. Also, while the VK30.01D can carry a battle, it also performs really well in support of at least one other vehicle. And this is a skill that comes really handy on the VK30.02D. Overall, the VK30.01D is, to me, it was an echo of the Leopard 1, like I mentioned earlier. And if you can't find a way to like the VK30.01D by the end of the grind, it's probably a better idea to stop grinding that line altogether, because all of the subsequent tanks are fast tanks without a whole lot of armor, and most are scout snipers and flankers. Let me interject though, the Indien Panzer is a different tank from the others. The Indien Panzer, and I'll elaborate more on it when I do the Indien Panzer video, but the Indien Panzer is significantly slower. It's not a race car. Like, all the tanks from the Panzer II to the VK30.02D are fast. All the tanks after the Indien Panzer, the Leopard Prototype A and the Leopard 1 are fast. The Indien Panzer is not quite so fast. So that's something you gotta watch out for. The Indien Panzer, all-out sniper. It's all about the gun. It's all about the gun depression. And there's some more features about it too, but that'll come when I release the Indien Panzer video. Now, as for equipment, basically, it's just the whole enchilada for this line that I'm using. A medium caliber gun rammer, improved vents class 2, and an enhanced gun laying drive. You want the medium caliber gun rammer because, well, you always want the medium caliber gun rammer because it improves your reload times, and overall that increases your DPM. It's a must-have. Improved defense class 2, it improves everything. It'll help your crew do better. And an enhanced gun laying drive, because it'll help you aim faster and shoot faster, and you'll get even more out of that gun. And you will need the medium caliber gun rammer and the improved defense class 2 all along the line, all the way from the Panzer III to the Leopard 1. You will be using those two along the entire line. The enhanced gun laying drive, while I recommend it for tiers 4 through 7, Panzer III through the VK30.02D, it won't be needed after tier 8 because the Indien Panzer does have vertical stabilizers available. But it is recommended for the VK30.01D. As for crew perks, my commander, although not in this video, but I would recommend having Sixth Sense without a doubt, because that lets you push the limits of going further up ahead. You know when you're being spotted and when you're not, and you can have an idea of what patterns the enemy is using to spot you with, and then you can come up with some own tactics and ideas and strategies of your own. Sixth Sense really does help a lot in a medium tank. For the gunner, you want Snapshot. It'll improve your accuracy on the move, and it'll help you aim faster. Smooth Ride, definitely for the driver, because that'll also help your aiming when you're on the move. Definite must-haves on a medium tank, almost any medium tank. Then, for the loader, I had him take Safe Stowage because, well, who doesn't want to get ammo rack? And it's a really bad thing for the ammo rack to be damaged on the VK30.01D, because if you can't fire the gun rapid fire, this really, really hurts the damage you're going to put out. And for the Radio Man, I put Situational Awareness because it increases your viewing range. Well, why not? So, second perk, you want to go for Brothers in Arms. Definitely Brothers in Arms. And after Brothers, and that is, as a side note, in case you didn't know, Brothers in Arms has to be trained on all the crew members for it to work. So, beyond that, do whatever you want. Those two sets of perks are what you're gonna need. So, that's my video for the VK30.01D. I will be releasing as my next video a video on the Panzer III and the Panzer III 4 all in one video. Afterwards, I'm going to continue down the line with the VK30.02D and the Indien Panzer. I'm also grinding the French heavies. I'm at the ARL-44 right now. I might give you some more information on that. And yeah, stay tuned. Leave a comment, a like, subscribe, and I will be back with you next time. This is Star Commander, signing off.